Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of You Are the Guide. This is a very, very special episode because we're actually celebrating, or I am actually celebrating, 6 months of being sober. 6 months since I quit drinking alcohol, and this is like a huge celebration for me. And what better time than for me to make a little episode just sharing with you my journey, how I decided to get started with this, and what has helped me throughout the way and what has not helped me at all. So just know that this episode, I'm going to be talking specifically about that topic, but it could potentially provide you insight and other things that you can do if you are trying to change other habits. It doesn't always need to be about drinking, but I will be talking about that. And just know that I don't think that the sober life is for everybody, or I'm not one of those people that thinks everybody should quit and let me try to convince you. Nope, not at all. I know that some people are totally okay with having the relationship they have with alcohol, and that's a personal thing. So that's between you and you. But I also know that I was in this pre-contemplation state of wanting to quit drinking for years, at least 10 years, where I started to seriously think about it. And it has been the biggest habit for me to let go of, because I always felt that I could not let it go. Like anything else I could, and then I would try to control it and limit it. And it took me so long. And watching videos of people sharing that they did it and what they did and what worked has inspired me so much. And it really helped me, especially those first few weeks and things like that, like just watching videos. It helps a lot. So I hope that this information is helpful. And yes, and I hope that you stick around and listen to the full episode. So, it's a long story. I want to say, like I mentioned earlier, that probably in my 30s or late 20s, I started to contemplate the idea of quitting drinking, but I never did it or took it seriously. I am originally from Mexico City, and my whole family and a lot of the times just the culture itself, it promotes drinking. I think the majority of cultures, or not all of them, but at least here in the US and in Mexico, we have normalized the concept of drinking. My parents drank, like I've always seen my parents drink their whole life, even if they were able to do it in a balanced way and be responsible. It was just a normal part of life to see my parents drink. My dad did struggle with alcohol a little bit more than normal, but that's his journey and his story. But I got to witness and normalize drinking. So when I started drinking, it just was normal. I never got any pushback. I was never judged. My family never told me not to drink. It was just like, oh, cool. Yeah, grab a drink, grab a beer, let's drink. And we've all just normalized it. And it was like, okay, that's it. Of course, I also had a lot of the interactions when you're growing up in your 20s. It's going out and drinking, and everything social for me happened around drinking alcohol. Now that I have learned a lot of what has been going on with my mental health and my complex PTSD, I've realized that obviously I was self-medicating because a lot of my trauma and a lot of what dysregulates my nervous system is interactions with others. So it was like, let's have a drink and then I'll be able to interact and I'll be outgoing and I'll be fun and I'll try to be funny. I'm not sure if I'm funny, but I'm sure I tried. And I was like, I'll try to be funny and like, I'll try to fit in. And it just worked. You start meeting people just like you. And some of my best friends, I met them through drinking. So there's really no judgment on it. But now that I'm taking a step back, and I can observe and be like, wow, I was really self-medicating. And the thing is that I also enjoyed drinking, like meaning the taste of the alcohol. Like I know some people don't like it, but I was like, I enjoy this. Like I really like it. So anyways, I never thought I was going to be able to let it go completely because I never saw it as a problem. necessarily. It was just something we all in my world do. So we're all okay and we're all doing it. I've had some experiences in my life where some people close to me did have more severe issues with alcohol, and it's so interesting how I was able to mentally recognize like, oh, they have an issue with drinking. I don't. I don't have an issue with drinking, but I can see that they do. How can I support them? You know, we very easily separate ourselves because once again, it's part of our life. And what makes us as humans feel more secure about a habit or something we do when society approves of it. Social approval is one of the biggest things that makes us temporarily feel safe. So if society's saying you're good, if society's putting it on TV and saying buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, that's what you need to do on the weekends and after work, we're going to be all for it because in a weird, twisted, unconscious or subconscious way, we're feeling approved of, like, hey, we're part of the team. Or that was the case for me. So of course I quit drinking when I was pregnant and it was like a non-issue at all. I could quit drinking for dry January, dry October, a month here, a month there. There were months where I wouldn't drink that much because I was busy, but it was still part of my life in the way that maybe many of you can relate. It's on a weekend and you're doing a cookout, so you have some beers. It's after work and you want to distress, so you have a glass of wine. You're going out for an event and you're at a bar, so you order yourself a cocktail. Like, it seems like, okay, like what's so bad about that? The thing is that what I started noticing for me is that, I don't know, it just didn't feel right to drink it. Like a lot of the times, and especially as I started to move through my 30s, I started to feel the hangovers were really bad to the point where it felt like abuse to my body. Like I was feeling I was abusing my body and trying to, like if I was the abuser, I'm the victim. And I was like, abusing my body, and then I was trying to talk myself like, no, but it's not so bad, like please forgive me. You know, and then I would do it again and again and again. I had an incident not that many years ago where I went out, I had a few drinks, I got home, and the lock on my doors was kind of hard to open, like it would get stuck, and I put the key in, and it had steps, and I tried to open it. And I had a few drinks. Like I felt that I was intoxicated. And when I tried to open it and I pulled the key out, my hand slipped and I fell straight back, and I hit my head. And I passed out. I was alone. It was dark. There was nobody else there. I won't say that it was only because of the alcohol, meaning like it was all the situation. But it was a wake-up call for me. I was like, I'm not in a stage in my life where I have any need for this type of experiences. Ever. We don't want anybody to fall and hit their head. But maybe in my 20s, like you're out having fun and you felt like whatever, but I'm not there anymore. Like, and I asked myself, like, why? Like, why am I doing this? And this had a lot to do with my complex PTSD, my issues with relationships. And there were other things and layers of things, as maybe you can relate, but I was just feeling the calling louder. Like I feel better. I thrive. I feel connected with my energy, with myself, the longer I go sober. And I only, outside of maybe those first few 15 minutes when you have that first drink, that first few drinks, that actually feels fun and good. After that, like alcohol didn't do it for me anymore. I would very easily feel nauseous, get headaches even while I'm drinking. Like I didn't even have to wait for the hangover. Like it was just not good. And I started to feel like I want to do it. And then I started reading this book. If you've quit drinking, you probably know about this book. And it's called This Naked Mind, Control Alcohol, Find Freedom, Discover Happiness, and Change Your Life. It's by Annie Grace. This Naked Mind. And pretty much this book changes your perspective on how you view alcohol. And I find the other book that I read, which is the classic that if you're in this journey, I would recommend for you to buy it, is the Alan Carr, The Easy Way to Quit Drinking, or I read The Easy Way for Women to Quit Drinking. But the way that both of these books are written is that they both invite you to, as you're reading the book, like, don't quit drinking. Like, it's a lot of like working with your subconscious mind. It's like, okay, especially this one, it's like while you're reading the book, The Naked Mind, keep drinking. Like, don't quit. Because it's not about ever quitting because somebody told you or anything like that in the way the books are written. It's about you really don't want to drink. And that's the biggest change that happened for me when I read both of those books. I realized I was able to finally remove like the pink rose glasses around alcohol and be like, I don't want it. I can go and have it. I can go and have it right now. Even the author of this book has mentioned that she actually, I believe from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, like there was a time where she actually went back because obviously she quit drinking, but she got drunk to I think film herself and see how she was speaking or something like that. I don't remember. And that's what I noticed happened with me. Anyways, reading the books motivated me. And I actually did do almost like a weird goodbye because I don't know which one of these books remind you or like encourage you to say goodbye to alcohol. And I know there was one last night where I drank and I kind of say my goodbyes to alcohol. Like, I wish I would have filmed myself because that's kind of funny. And then, it's weird because I was already reading the books and I was still drinking and I was find myself feeling like it's weird how psychologically we can like subconsciously program ourselves. I was like, ugh, it's like, it doesn't sit right with me. And I remember I was drinking a beer and I didn't want to leave it because I paid and I was trying to chug it and it just didn't feel right. I was like, ugh. When I've done that many times. And then I also did another kind of ritual, if you want to say, because I hung out with my cousin, which I love, and that was the last time that I drank. So I was with her and we had some drinks. And then I stopped drinking. And what I'm trying to say with that is like, it's weird because I just said I no longer want to drink. I don't drink. And I don't know how to explain to you why that decision and saying it peacefully and accepting it changed things, because then I didn't have to struggle that much. It hasn't been necessarily easy 100% of the time, but in my day-to-day life, like at least my triggers were not there. I didn't want to drink after work. I didn't want to do that, but it's more like in social, when I go see friends or things like that. That was a little bit of the struggle for me. But I love how in both of the books, especially in This Naked Mind, she talks about, and my book is so dirty as well. Sorry, guys. If you guys are looking at this, I have books everywhere. I just pulled this from like a pile underneath a closet, so God knows what that is. But anyway, she talks about how it's important to, and I forgot where I was going with this that I wanted to share with you. And she talks about how you can have fun. And she notices, and I notice it too, you can have the same amount of fun when you are not drinking, but you feel good about your decision. You're owning it. And I can add, and when you are learning other ways to regulate yourself. I know that for me, drinking was a way of self-medicating. So just not drinking and being exposed to a lot of social environments can be triggering for me. But when I know how to regulate myself, I feel so good. And the best part is waking up without a hangover. Like, you forget how it felt so horrific to have a hangover. For me, which is, I know it's not the case for everybody, I have allowed myself not to have a drink, but a few times people have said like, oh, look, this drink is really good. Do you want to sip and try it? And I noticed that the part of me that's always black and white and intense wants to be like, no, I don't drink. But I've allowed myself to be like, literally just wet my lips, try it. and realize like I don't like the intensity right now of that, and just being thank you and finding peace with being exposed to it without it ever meaning that I'm going to have a drink, not because it's wrong, but because I made a decision not to have it. And I'm feeling better. And there's so many good and positive benefits from not doing that. And it feels freeing to know that I'm choosing not to drink completely, but that I'm also not putting, I'm not putting myself in a cage. I'm allowing myself to be free. And I think the way I hear so many people say that they feel this way when they quit drinking. And I think it's because of like a lot of the mindset shift of like reading books like this. It mentions things about the reality of alcohol. Anything that we have ever read that benefits, there's no benefit. It has been proved there's zero benefit, but it's 100% proven that it affects the body. It's going to affect the brain, it's going to affect the liver. Like we know it will. And so walking into a bar and looking at the bar and beginning to see like right now that liquid, because it's just a liquid, feels more like poisonous to me than like something I want to have fun, because I can have fun regardless. I just don't want it. Like I'm good. But then people drinking it and enjoying it and it making themselves happy, I don't judge it at all. Like I'm around a lot of people that are drinking and it's perfect. Like it's totally okay. I have discovered different drinks. Sometimes you do want to have something to drink, but it's just not alcohol. And eventually I want to like talk to you more, like do an episode of like what are actually products that are good when it comes to like substitutions, non-alcoholic, like liquor. I don't even know if you call it liquor, if it's non-alcoholic. I don't know, non-alcoholic beverage or non-alcoholic different things. I have some here that I'll come back and review them. But like, for example, this is a non-alcoholic spiced like whiskey, we could say. Let's see what it's called. Non-alcoholic spirits for whiskey cocktails. This is the spiced version. And then we do have, for example, things like this, which are the kin euphorics. Kin euphorics. These ones are different because they actually have ingredients like different supplements, we can say. Like, for example, with this one that I have here, it's called Awaken Your Heart. And it has ingredients to help with feeling centered and blah, blah, blah. So it's like different supplements that actually change your vibe a little bit, but with supplementing you and helping you. I've tried a lot of them, so I can give very honest reviews about these, because I do like having different things, but I'm also willing to try and see what's worth it and what's not worth it. So if you have found anything that is non-alcoholic that you make as a drink, and my friends have been so loving and supportive, and they send me like recipes of non-alcoholic drinks, and I appreciate that. Because it feels good to know that you can be close to people that right now are choosing different habits, but you can still be close to them and they can support you and you can support them. And it's beautiful. But if you have tried any non-alcoholic beverages that you love, I would love for you to share with me, because I'm in for the long run for this. Right now we're celebrating 6 months, which feels crazy and like amazing. By the summer, it's going to be a year. And I just want to take it from there. And I just also want to say, I don't think that quitting drinking is superior than drinking. I don't think that everybody should quit drinking or needs to. And I also believe that there's no shame with maybe quitting for a while and then going back and figuring out that you do want to drink. Like, it's okay. Whatever your journey, whatever your story, it's totally okay. I just know that for me, right now in this chapter, to step into my next potential, to be able to even be here sitting with you, creating this podcast, a big part of why it happened is because when I quit drinking, it helped me to push out from the depression that I was going through. Because the alcohol just kept me at the low. The depression was not caused by drinking, but I was using alcohol to stay there. It was like, I'm already here, let me serve myself a drink. And when I quit, it's like my energy came back to myself and I was able to move forward. And now here we are. For those of you that are considering this, I say go for it, do it. You know you know the calling that you're hearing. You are hearing it clearly. Do it. Just do it. Read the books. Follow other people online that are also in the same journey as you. And try it out. And many people sometimes start with a month and see how you feel. And take it from there. Like there's nothing wrong with just taking the leap and trying it out. And yeah, so I just wanted to share this in this episode today. I hope that this was helpful for some of you. Thank you for listening and for all of the amazing comments and feedback that I'm receiving about the episodes. And some of you had asked me more about like how can we reach out when it comes to like online. Remember, everything is under You Are the Guide. You are the Guide on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. You can find me anywhere. We can connect, and just know that the website is youaretheguide.com. Remember, we have some a free online course on the Gene Keys. If you're interested in learning more about yourself, it's a free course where you learn 3-day adventure of you going deeper into, okay, let me get to know my heart. Let me get to know how I move in my body. And it's based on your date of birth. It's really cool. If you go to youaretheguide.com /get started. With that said, thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. Thank you for celebrating with me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you soon.